It's early autumn, and with the change of seasons also came a change of haircut for me. I have also transferred ambulance stations out of Ashcroft to the little town of Chase, which is located on the Little Shuswap Lake, located right behind me. They've got a very informative museum talking a little bit about the history of the region, and across the street from it is a schoolhouse that was built in the early 1900s. This town's gorgeous. A cute little downtown. That's right, I said cute. Also, a bunch of homes that back right onto a golf course, things like that, and with this weather we're having today, it's beautiful. One thing that sets Chase apart from other little towns in British Columbia is its location. Conveniently for me, it's about 20 minutes away from one of the most spectacular phenomenons that's happening in the world right now. It's the Sockeye Salmon Run. Alright, here we are. I've just made it to the river and I can already smell the fish, even though I'm not quite at the river. There are a lot of dead ones that are pretty stinky. I'm here at the perfect time because there's really not all that many people. About 70,000 people in total will come through here to see the salmon run this season. But right now I'm hitting the sweet spot. There's not a whole lot of traffic, and the colors, because of the sun, the way that everything's getting hit, is just unreal. Over 25 million sockeye salmon made their way into the Fraser River near Vancouver. This year it's expected that 2 million of them will find their way to the Adams. All I can see is fish. It's good. It's practical. It's one of the biggest runs in nearly 100 years. Remember that this is just the sockeye. Other species of salmon will run in the river this year, many at the same time. The magnitude that this run is really not paralleled by anything. I mean, even though like every 4th year is a big run, this is way surpassing any of those other runs. Like last year, there was supposed to be 11 million fish that came through, but only 1.5 million ended up coming through. And that's the whole province for sockeye, and that was way below quota, you know? And so like each year it's different, and this year is just way beyond. In 1909, a dam was built at the Lower Adams for a lumber company so that they could create flash floods to carry cut timber downstream. That nearly caused the collapse of the Adams salmon run. Then, in 1913, a rail-induced rock slide at Hell's Gate in the Fraser Canyon also threatened the ecosystem. Lucky for us, they've rebounded since then, and we're seeing what we're seeing currently. The rocks are pretty grungy, I'm not gonna lie. Lots of dead fish have been on these things and have disintegrated, been eaten and everything, and yeah, they're sticky. Here's a nice dead Chinook. Alright, I'm gonna try and get a bit of underwater footage with my little guy here. Let's see how it goes. These fish had a really long journey just to get back here to spawn. About 4 years ago, they were just eggs in the riverbanks and riverbeds and creek beds surrounding the Adams. After that, when they hatched, the little hatchlings, they ended up growing and swimming out towards the Shuswap, growing there for a few years and ending up in the open ocean. After their adult life, they turned around, came back through the Georgia Strait, through Vancouver, all the way up the Fraser River past Abbotsford to Hope, all the way up the Fraser Canyon to Lytton, and then took a right-hand turn onto the Thompson River, ending up in Kamloops Lake. From there, they took the Thompson again, all the way into the Little Shuswap near Chase, eventually the Shuswap in here. This is where they're gonna spawn, and then they're gonna die. But that completes the circle of sockeye salmon life. Like, they went through it all, man. I've just gotten into Salmon Arm, and Laine's not here yet, but I have another surprise for everybody. Look who it is. What?
Why do you have to film everything? Hate you. Yeah, I transferred out to Sycamoose, away from Jordan at the same time, and now he's an hour away from me.
Burger time? Just nice to meet up. Kind of all met in the middle from Enderby, Sycamoose, and Chase. So yeah, it's pretty real. Grab a meal and a brew. Yeah, how about you, Devon? What do you got to say?
I'm amazingly embarrassed right now because you have no idea how many people are looking at us.
Laine, you're doing good though.
I'm putting 110% into this, so that's why.
We watched the Canucks destroy the Kings and caught up as life had pulled us all in different directions for the moment. Laine was actually working on the Adams that fall, doing all the things that Laine does with fish. Oh, Devon, before we go, I want on camera a promise that next year some point, because we're on the Shuswap right now, that next year at some point we're gonna go houseboating. I want it guaranteed on camera.
I promise.
All right, so until then, well, I'll see you before then.